Thank you all. And I can tell you how happy I am to be here and to be seeing people in person and to feed off your energy and hopefully to be helpful in all the work that you do. It's just really a blast. And so I'm going to bring home your reactions to our whole team because we've been looking at Zoom, and Zoom you can't tell very much. People throw eggs at the screen. Doesn't matter. Who cares, right? All right. So today is June 23rd, right? I got the first slide correct. So yesterday we talked about the 4 building blocks of hope: safe, stable, nurturing relationships, safe and equitable environments to live, learn, and play at school and at home, engagement, opportunities for engagement so that children develop a sense they belong to a group and that they matter to someone, to other people in the world, and finally opportunities for emotional growth. And sometimes it's a beautiful thing, sunset, and sometimes it's really ugly, kids squabbling as they're learning a sense of each other. But nevertheless, those opportunities for emotional growth are so important. So I want to start out today and say that in your work, there are opportunities for moments of hope. And by this I mean just by making little switches in the way we work, we can create moments for positive experiences in each encounter. Okay, so have any of you ever gone to, I don't know, say a doctor's office, right? Anyone ever been to a doctor's office? Okay, I have, great. So think about the difference between someone who says, "Where's your insurance card?" and someone who says, "Oh, Bob, welcome, it's nice to see you." Okay, very different. And I work in a city, and our patients, particularly the poor patients, are late. We have this thing called a subway system. And just for those of you who are rural, I'm going to explain what a subway system is. You get into a car that looks like a train car, except it's noisier and more crowded. And then you travel 100, 200 yards, and then it stops. And then eventually it starts again, and sometimes someone apologizes. Delay, right? So then you arrive with your baby and your toddler, and you're 10 minutes late to your appointment, and the first thing that happens is someone says, "Bob, you're late." Okay, first of all, I knew this. And when I used to run a primary care office, we dealt with late patients, and it was tough. So we wanted the people who were there on time to get seen on time, and the patients who were late to get squeezed, seen when we could. So to make this work, we told them at the front desk, "You were late, we'll squeeze you in." And then we put a little marker on their file, because those days we had paper files, and a little dot, right? And then the person who checked them in said, "Oh, I see you're late." And then they eventually get to the doctor. The doctor said, "I'm sorry, it's been so long, but you were late." So imagine, like, there you are, and you have this infant and this toddler, and you've been on the subway system, which you now all understand. It really does have a lot of delays, and being told that. And then you want to have this really warm, wonderful relationship. So what I'm saying this is because when we say each encounter, it's not just with the professionals. Sometimes, depending on where you work, it starts the moment you walk in. During intake and assessments. So many of us, we'll talk about this in more detail, but who has like an evidence-based intake and assessment that they do with every new client? Okay, a few of you, right? And most of the things that we've seen, the evidence-based intakes and assessments, look for problems that need to be solved, right? So are you poor? Are you hungry? Which substances do you use? Is there intimate partner violence? A whole long list of things, right? Do they ever ask you, like, what makes you tick? What are you proud of? So we're working now with several national organizations to change the intake forms so they include some of the things that parents really care about their strengths and stamina. And we use the 4 building blocks of hope, and whatever the workflow of that system is, so we also find out if people are engaged in their communities. So we have a story. I love stories. So there was a mom who came in and with her mother, the grandma, right? And they had food insecurity. And those of you who've done these screens know there's a evidence-based screen for food insecurity, and they were food insecure. But what they found out by doing more of an assessment using HOPE that we'll talk about is that grandma spent her Saturdays delivering food to other families in the parish from the food bank to people who couldn't get out and get to the food bank. So they had a complicated relationship with food insecurity that the evidence-based screen didn't get at completely. People are complicated, and it's worth doing that. Oh, great. It's going to be really fun. My computer is trying to save its battery. I don't know, Eric, is there a setting that we can use? Okay. Because I'm going to be here for more than the 5 minutes. Again, the next one is sharing referrals or community resources. And by this, I mean, it's really simple. We all know the professional resources, right? But do you know where the playgrounds are? One day I was walking to work, and there's a Greek church, and they had a big festival coming that weekend. And that's really cool. You can bring your kids to that. And we've worked a little bit with some of the native